Just waiting for everyone to get in now. Hopefully, fingers crossed this one works. Thanks for your patience with this one, guys. What a mess up. Okay, so I've just sent out an invitation to you two guys as well. So hopefully you'll pop in a sec. Fun and games of new technology, huh? I'm sitting here talking to myself, waiting for everyone to turn up. So if you're looking at the recording, you won't get too bored. You can just laugh at me. Waiting. Hi. It's not working this time. I've got back in. Did you use the new email that came in? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And then the thing comes up with the link. So then you copy that and paste it into your browser window, and that should take you to the place. I've also invited you both from this end, so hopefully that helps you get in. well, you don't have to, just, you know, the white strip at the top where you put in your URLs, just put it in there, like copy and paste it to there, and then hit enter, and it should go to that link, and it should bring you in, hopefully. Into the, oh, that happened to me the first time I tried it. And it's like sometimes the browser strip had like a magnifying glass in it, which was like a Google search, and other times it didn't. When it had the magnifying glass was there, then it didn't seem to work. And then when I just had an ordinary, you know, strip to just put the URL in, then it worked. So I'm not sure. Mercury's in retrograde, so all sorts of funny things are happening. Bad week to try this. Oh, fingers crossed. Yay! Yeah, well, you should pop up in a minute. Yes, there you are. All right, so turn your video back on and I'll ring Wendy and see how she's going.
Cool. All right, cool.
So I can hear you now.
Yay, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can see you down there.
Yeah, it'll come up in a sec.
All right. It's saying there was an error loading my app.
Where you're in.
So, yeah, my page is like, I can see you down the bottom, but my page is really dim, and it's saying there's an error loading your app. Couldn't open because it isn't communicating properly with Google. Try again in case it's a temporary problem. So shall I try again?
You should. So Maria as well. Yeah, because you haven't turned up as an attendee in the room yet, even though I can see and hear you. So I don't know what that's about. So maybe try it again. How are you going?
I'll try it again. Okay. All right. How's that?
Oh, yeah, that's no worries. I'm so sorry about all this cock up.
No, don't be sorry at all. Don't be sorry at all. All good.
Yeah, copy that and paste it.
And how's Wendy going?
Well, it didn't work for me. I had to actually copy it and put it into the, you know, the URL place. Yeah, no worries. Maria, did you also get the email that had the VAK learning styles with it and the article that I sent? Yep.
Yep, I did that. I came up as a visual learner.
Yeah, I'm a lot visual as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. It's not working for you? We both had trouble with. Well, the place you would type a website that you were wanting to go to, you know, at the top, that little white strip where you put in your www. whatever, if you're going to a website, in there, you just copy and paste it into there.
I had to put to the very top bar, Ursula, and then it worked for me.
Yeah. The Control-C is copies. Yeah, so if you know how to scroll over it so that it's selected, and then Control-C, and then go up to, yeah, hold down the Control and the C key, and that should copy it. And then you go up to your top, your browser where you put your URLs into, which is your web address, and just click on there. Control V. Well, Maria's not showing up in the room as an attendee, but I can see and hear her, so that's the main thing. As long as we can communicate with each other, and I'll really figure this out for the next one. See, during the week, I need to confer with somebody who knows how to use this and have a run through with them and make sure I know what I'm doing. V. That's Control V is paste. Control C is copy, and then V is paste. Is it taking you to Google Hangouts? It's got some green on it. It'll just say that you're in, it'll be directing you. I had something come up. It's so funny. I'm just going to use the entire time just figuring out how to make it work. Oh, cool. Yeah, I had trouble the first 2 or 3 times it gave me an error message, and then it suddenly worked, and Maria's had some similar things when she tried. So, yeah, just do it. Yeah, just do it. It's the magic that makes it happen. Yeah. That's all right. Oh, cool. Yay. Getting there. Not yet. Hopefully you'll shortly. Can you see me and Maria? Oh, I've just had a pop-up that says Wendy Bush.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
There you are. Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hang on, you're putting it
You
on.
made
Continue.
it.
I know, how's that? Wow.
Yay.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was fun. Welcome in, Wendy. Oh, look, this has taken up so much time already. I'm so sorry. What I'll do is I will get started and run through as much as we can in the time. I don't want to take up your whole afternoon unless, when we get to the time, if you've still got time, let me know. We'll make it up next time when we know it works. And I'll go and do some more research about how to make it smoother next time, okay?
Oh, good.
Right, so let me go and share my desktop with you. So,
Do I need a notebook or something, do you think, Ursula?
it's completely up to you. It probably wouldn't hurt. If there's anything you'd like the sound of.
Yeah, me.
So ideally, you will
Yeah,
have this as a recording to refer to later. But as it's been such a balls up from the beginning, who knows if that will work or not. Maria's taking a few notes, but I have.
I don't, darling. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Anyway. Can you see the first slide there, Wendy?
Oh, yes, okay. Yep, got the first. Everything is energy, that one?
Yeah, it's a quote by Albert Einstein. So everything's energy, and that's pretty much all there is to it. When we match the frequency of the reality that we want, we can't help but get that.
Okay. Sorry, Ursula, hang on.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
going.
fine.
I've just got to see Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I can catch you up while Marie's pinning. So it can be no other way because philosophy is physics, and that's the essence of a lot of what I work with. Working with energy for so many years, everything has a unique vibrational signature. We're all vibrating at different resonances, and the things that get sort of drawn to us.
Ursula, can I get you to speak up a bit, please?
Sure, I'll try and talk a bit louder into my microphone. Is that better?
Say something else?
Hello? Can you hear me okay?
Yep, got.
Great.
Yep, that's better.
Great. Okay. So does that make sense? Have you heard of that idea before, that everything pretty much energy, and you know, a chair knows to be a chair and not turn into a wall, and vice versa, a flower knows to be a flower. It's all about vibrational signatures, and then beyond that, the emotional states, mental thoughts and constructs all have signatures as well. So you will notice certain people seem to attract the same scenarios into their life over and over again. It may be the same relationship, just in different clothes, or it may be the same kind of experiences, or why one person will be attracted to alcohol as their drug of choice and another one it will be heroin or cigarettes. It's all to do with a vibrational signature. And you'll notice as you go through life, sometimes one food will become something that you just can't get enough of, and then that will pass and you don't really want that food anymore. It's something to do with a vibration that changes in us, because we're constantly changing as human beings. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And that feels all right for you? It's not something you think is a load of shit or that confronts you in any way?
Yeah, that's it.
That's okay? Awesome. Then we'll be fine. And my second question was just checking, do you have some sort of a belief in some kind of a higher power, or, you know, that this is the one life, that's it, we get put in a box and then there's nothing else? Where does your belief system fit?
Oh, okay. Are you asking me or
Yeah,
Maria or both of us at the moment?
I'm asking you. Wendy?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Okay, so you're asking me about my belief system, is that right?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
do
I
you
do.
have some sort of higher power
Yeah,
belief?
well, I just believe in, you know, the universe and Mother Nature and the energy that is available to us and is in us, actually, is part of us, and that we are part of everything, really.
Awesome.
Do I have a particular doctrine that I am involved in? Maybe the closest is Buddhism, but not particularly. I'm not. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no, that's not important. It's more that, and I assume you wouldn't have come this far if you didn't, but it's good to check that otherwise you're going to think a lot of what I say is probably a load of shit if you really thought that,
Oh,
if you're a
okay.
complete atheist. So I just like to check that at this point of the session, that's all. So if you have some sort of understanding, then this is going to be reasonably acceptable, because I do refer to higher powers and connecting into whatever universal source, God source, whatever you think of it, is not important. As long as you believe there is one,
Yep.
we're all good.
Yep.
And the second thing was just that was important to share was that this becomes like a safe space, and confidentiality is a really important part of that. Particularly, there's another 2 girls that were supposed to be part of this, but they forgot and double booked themselves for this week, so they may join us next week. So it's really important everyone understands that in order for this to be a safe space for sharing, just in case in other courses people's own stuff became relevant and they wanted to ask questions about that or share something. And so we must make sure that anything that is shared in this sort of stays here and is respected, because we've got a, you know, Perth's a really small place, and if we go sharing other people's stories, you'd be surprised at how little information's needed to identify the person sometimes, and you know, we wouldn't like anyone to do that for us, so we're kind of.
So do you think using this webinar is safe in that regards?
Yes, I can.
Could not other people hook in and listen to this?
No, I set the privacy settings so that only us can have access to it.
Okay.
So that would be, yeah. Plus I'm charging for this content. I don't want everyone else to just have access to it for free. So yeah, no, there's on the YouTube channel that I get set up. I put my settings in so only us can have access to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I just come into, I mean, I didn't read it just then, but it was saying that, you know, your stuff can be copied and used and blah, blah, blah. You know, are you aware of this? I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
There is that potential, but I put my privacy settings in to make sure that. So pretty much a big component of what we're doing and the tools I teach you is called what I call energetic hygiene. That's how it was introduced to me, and it makes a lot of sense to see it in those terms. So it's just like our ordinary physical hygiene. We sort of understand, we go through our day, we can pick up grime and dirt. You know, we walk past a bunch of smokers, we'll have cigarette smoke in our hair and on our clothes, we'll be able to smell it. You know, we're interacting with people, we might pick up some dirt from somewhere. We eat and, you know, food gets left in our teeth, so we understand that daily we need to keep our system healthy. Does that make sense, Wendy?
Yep, that's good, yep.
Right. So we've got an energy field as well, which I think you said that you understand that we do that, and of course this is attached to us all the time. It's out there interacting. So likewise, that can pick up bits of dirt and debris that we may not want to have there, and other people can directly influence us. So the tools I'll teach you will be about protecting your field from those influences, and then clearing out whatever is in there that you don't want to be there. So these are quite handy tools. And yes, I'm sure. Can you understand why you might want to know about how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely, because I feel like that happens quite often, particularly, you know, with when I was working, you know, I'd get like lots of, you know, people would be draining my energy. I could feel it. I'd come home and I'd be shattered, and it wasn't just a physical being shattered. There was something going on that I know that these, you know, people around me in my energy have taken some of my energy. I'm not sure how to express that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that tells me you understand perfectly what we're about here. So, yeah, you should find this quite helpful. It's excellent. Yep, so you know that's more than just physical. So I'm taking some notes too. I want to have a record of what we've said we want to, our understanding of what we want to get out of this as well. So, here we go. I'm going to look at our expectations and what you think you'd like to get out of this program, so I make sure that I meet those. So without, just from what you know now, and having agreed to do this with me, what were you hoping you would get out of this? What comes to mind?
I'm just hoping perhaps for a few more tools to add to my repertoire. I'm really trying not to have too many expectations in my life at the moment, but yeah.
Great. Awesome then. So I guess the next point is the evidence. So how will you know you've got it?
I suppose on a practical level. Okay. On a practical level, I suppose if I can feel my energy being interfered with, or not interfered with, but draining at a particular point, I will have some way of going about dealing with that.
Yep. So if you're feeling someone's draining your energy and you apply the tools I teach you and you notice it makes a difference, then you'll know that it's working.
Yeah. Which is pretty much what I was going to say, and also even just being aware, being able to stop in that moment and sort of saying, hang on, I can read what's happening here. You know, just that awareness, I suppose. Yeah,
exactly right. Sorry, I'm writing some notes, so I've got this on record. Yeah, exactly so. You'll find that in the beginning, it's just like, I think I've pre-mentioned before, I know I say it a lot, you know, you buy a new red Honda Civic and all of a sudden you notice, hey, look at all the red Honda Civics that are out there, or even all the other coloured ones. It's not that they weren't there before, it's just you had no reason to notice them before, but all of a sudden, geez, don't they pop into your awareness, or whatever it is that you've bought, you know. And it's much the same with this, it's just your awareness is open, you see more. So once you start being aware of these things and you notice that, oh, this is a coping strategy I've identified, or I see where this has come from, when it's happening, or like Wendy suggested, you know, feeling somebody is draining your energy, you know, when you notice it afterwards, first of all, you notice afterwards, shit, I'm really tired now. I bet it was talking to that person and doing that. You know, and then you'll notice it as it's happening, and you'll be like, oh, hang on a minute, I know what this is. This is going all right. I'm going to stop it now, and I'll apply these tools, and we'll stop that from happening right here. And then as you practice more and your awareness grows, you'll see it just as it's about to happen. And then you'll see it a little bit earlier, and then pretty soon you'll see it, you'll not recognize it before it even gets to you, and you'll be like, oh, no, I'm going to put my shield up right now, and that's just not even going to come in and affect me. So does that make sense, that as your awareness grows, it's like any muscle and any skill, it develops and you get earlier and earlier, and you get more and more graceful at dealing with it. First, it may be clunky and you may forget, but please don't be disheartened or be hard on yourself to go, oh, I should know how to do that, because it's just, that's why I set you up as a weekly and a daily habit. It takes about 30 days for a new habit to develop. So that's why I give you your daily practice exercises, and I'll send you an email today, and you'll have something to fill out every day, and I'll want a report from each of you at the end of the week. You get homework.
Yep.
And I'll explain near the end why that's important, but it's accountability basically. It makes sure you engage in and do it, because I want you to actually use this, and it just doesn't become something, oh yeah, I did that and that was interesting, and then it's over and I forget all about it. I want you to actually use it, because then you'll benefit from it. And if we can instill it as a habit and get you through that 30 days, then it will stay with you. And even if you sometimes forget for periods of time, it'll be in there and you'll have it to draw on. And the nature of writing the report means that you're giving your brain a time to review it and integrate what you've learned. And even if you think, oh shit, this week I didn't have time to do my homework very well, I've got nothing to write, just please anyway show up and write me something, because every time I felt that with my mentor, I started writing and then all of a sudden this stuff would pop in and I would realise, actually, I was applying this and I was learning something from it, and what do you know? And it helps you to see your success of going, oh, even though I wasn't consciously trying to do this, what do you know? This is having an effect in my life anyway, and I'm just doing it without realising, and that helps. Does that make sense? It helps build your confidence in what you're doing?
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. The next one was, what do you already know? If it wants to load up, which I think we've probably already covered. You already have an awareness of these things by the sounds of it. Is there anything you would like to add or make me aware of?
Not from my perspective, no.
Cool.
Not at the moment, thanks.
Right, good. So, looking on the right. Technical difficulties. There we go. So, from my point of view, spirituality is nothing more than just living an ordinary life. It's just with a little bit more awareness and understanding that there's powers around us, and it's just like understanding there is gravity. I may choose not to believe in gravity. Doesn't stop me from, staying on the earth and not floating up into the air. Makes sense? So there's many other universal laws and principles we're all governed by. We all have this energy field, whether we believe in it or not. Scientifically proven now, and it can be measured. And so to me, spirituality is just energy, understanding that energetic part of life, which is what this course is about, to help you understand it better. Makes sense? And understand some of the universal laws and principles. We're not going to go into it in a huge degree because you don't need to. But just so you get a start of an understanding, and then you'll be able to negotiate through life better. And quantum physics is, the science behind all of this stuff. And again, I'm not in any huge way, but just enough so that you get something out of this and can apply it to your life in a reasonable way. Just like you don't have to be a gastroenterologist and understand completely your whole system to know that, having some acidophilus and keeping your gut healthy is a really good idea, because you get that there's a causation link and effect, and that eating healthy food is good. You don't have to have a dietitian degree, do you? So this is sort of the level to which we'll be going into this stuff. Does that make sense and sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Cool. I don't want to be overwhelming anyone, and if I ever do, please let me know and I'll answer any questions I can. So, any questions for me on what about energy or spirituality or anything you want to be sure we're on the same page about?
No, not yet. No, I'll stop you if I do. Don't worry.
Awesome.
It's all good.
Okay, and this is really important. I'll keep banging on about this. Like, I want you to develop your discernment as well, which is a slightly different vibration to judgment, but we need discernment to keep us safe and to keep us alive. So don't ever take on anything that doesn't feel right to you. Nothing that I tell you, this is my understanding as the best as I've managed to take on, and I believe that this is all true and real, but I don't know everything, and I haven't, no doubt I will change as I deepen my understanding. And other people will tell you different things as you go through life, and you just have to learn to tune into your gut and really feel, does this feel right to me? And if anything ever feels challenging or not right or dangerous, then don't do it, whether it's something I say or not. I appreciate you're on here with me, but I don't expect you to see me as any sort of guru or expert. I'm just sharing what seems to be real and has worked for me. But if anything I say doesn't work for you, or anywhere out there, if it doesn't match your values and your belief systems, then feel into that and see whether it's something you want to take on or not. And sometimes it will will challenge our belief systems, and that can be a good thing. And you'll kind of know. Is this making sense?
Yep, definitely.
Yep. You're all good with that? All right. So let's link into now our energetic system. This is a very, very simplified model. Apparently I'm sure there are far more layers than this, but for ease of understanding, we have this 4-body system. So we get the physical body is the first one, and it's actually an energy body. It's just a very dense one, and this is one we can touch and feel and that we live in. So it's no less important than the others. A lot of people in the so-called spiritual community will poo-poo the physical body and spend all their life out of their body and up in the ethers floating around, which I don't particularly personally find very helpful, because we're in a human body for a reason. We might as well be in here looking after it and utilising this wonderful vehicle. It's here for us to interact with the world around us. And then we have more. The next one out is the emotional body. So if you can just imagine like a little bubble around you for ease of understanding, and all your emotional stuff is in that field. So this is the first, and that can extend out from you know, a few feet. It can be reasonably big on its own. So that would be the emotional level. And then beyond that is the mental body, as you can imagine, with thoughts and all the mental constructs. And then the next one out is the soul, or the Buddhic body. So we have these 4 layers, and they're not like one layer on top of each other. Each one goes all the way through. So my funny little picture here, you can kind of see each of them has a little slice that goes all the way through to the core. So if you can imagine, we're like a little babushka doll with each of these within each other. Does that kind of make sense of how it works?
Yeah.
On the most basic level. Well, I'll keep deepening our understanding week by week as we go, but as a starting point. So we can collect, oh no, I'll talk about that later. But all of these can fill up with various bits of debris and stuff and get stuck in there. And of course our emotional states, if they're not dealt with, will get stuck in this system somewhere. So if we have an overwhelming emotion that come up and we can't deal with that at the time, like there might be grief that just, it's not safe to express and we don't know what to do with it, or huge anger or something, we're not really encouraged to express our anger very healthily. It often, these kind of emotions get suppressed, and so they'll go somewhere in here. So often it might get pushed into the physical body, or your emotional stuff might get stuck in that emotional body, and we're kind of carrying it around a lot. And that might make sense when you actually read the article, when you have my little analogy of a handbag. And then, of course, our mental stuff, our thoughts are actual things. So as soon as we think a thought, it doesn't just, it actually takes form, and that can collect in our mental body. So it's a good idea to learn how to clean this stuff out, because you might be taking all this, you know, when we have our crazy periods where we think all these crazy things and we get stuck in a loop of all these worrying sort of thoughts that aren't helpful, they can still be in our field. So we want to learn how to clear that stuff out. Sound like a helpful thing to learn?
Yep.
Cool. And then there's your soul body, and again, my understanding is the physical body is the vehicle for the soul. So we house the soul. That's why as you develop your awareness, you'll be aware there's kind of different parts of ourselves. You know, there's our brain, and we can hear that ticking, like the personality part of ourselves, and then there's a deeper voice, or that's from the heart, and then from the soul is. And then there's higher and higher influences. But you can always, have you ever had a conversation with yourself in your head? Or is that just me?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? There's different parts of that voice. And sometimes we've got to discern which one we're going to listen to. You know, when we're trying to make an important decision and we can't tune in, like, it seems this way, but is it this? And then we'll learn to discern, well, this is just the personality, the brain who's going to keep us safe, and say, no, this is what we know. And then another part, the intuitive part, that says, yeah, but I feel actually that's not right. So sorry if I'm digressing here, and I can do that. Stop me if I get too confusing, will you? So the physical body houses the soul, is the vehicle for the soul to express through here on earth. The soul itself is another vehicle, and it's a vehicle for spirit to come in. So the soul is the eternal part of ourselves that lobs into physical body after physical body after physical body in the different incarnations that we have. Is that in sync with other people's beliefs? Is that okay? Yep.
Yeah.
So the soul is the eternal part that kind of jumps in and out of lifetimes. And so that houses spirit, which is a higher level again. The soul itself, being just a vehicle, can sustain damage too. So during the lifetimes of things that happen, things that get transmitted back to the soul can cause damage as well. So these things will come in lifetime after lifetime. It might have a similar theme play out because it sustains some damage with one life, and so it doesn't quite know how to figure that out, and so it'll keep having lives where it explores certain themes or whatever. And so you can heal on those different levels too, and that's what the soul body, I think, is about. That some of those soul issues that come in, you know, we've all seen babies come in and just know they've got their own personality, and kids that no matter what you've tried to teach them have got their own agenda. They'll believe something about themselves or about the world even though they've never had an experience here to put that in. And you think, where does that come from? And it may come from genetic line programming, because we've got that, and then the soul is a whole other line. So is this overwhelming you, or is it kind of making sense?
Yeah, no, it's not
making
particularly new
sense.
for me. No.
Cool, yeah. Like I said, I'm not going into this stuff in a huge way, but this is my understanding of things, so it might just make sense of where we're going with the rest of the course. Hopefully. Good. So yes, we have this 4-body system, and I'll refer to that at other times, so it just means you know roughly what I'm talking about, and we can revisit any time anything that doesn't make sense. So we interact with other people, and obviously we've each of us got these energy fields emanating far beyond us, and so as you can see, they vibrate at certain frequencies and they affect each other. You can walk into a room and feel affected by it sometimes from other people. You walk into a room that's very tense, you notice it straight away. This is just the vibration of the energy fields. Or you can feel a bit down, talk to a friend who just lights you up, makes you feel better. Their vibration is stronger and it's affecting you. Or conversely, you pick up the phone, talk to a friend who absolutely makes you feel drained, as you know, Wendy said, you notice that at work sometimes. And you think, oh God, and they've just, their field vibration has brought yours down, but also there are cords from the various chakra points people can hook in, and that will affect you too, and we'll learn how to deal with those as well. So, you know, someone comes in and they're feeling crappy and they want you to feel sorry for them, and they've got an agenda and they want you to feel a certain way. They'll hook in, and even though you might try and get away and think, oh, I don't like how this is going, I don't like how I feel, you're trying to get away, they'll kind of hook in and try and drag you into their dramas. Have you all experienced something like that?
Yeah.
So we actually do, these cords actually come out, we can't see them, some people can, and they'll hook into you, and we'll learn how to cut and clear those. Now the other thing is there is permanent cords, and those would be your genetic family. Those cords can never be cut, they can only be cleared. And also sexual ones. So anyone you've ever had a sexual relationship with, you're corded to them for the rest of your life. So can you see that it could be a really good idea to learn that cord clearing class that we do?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a direct link to you all the time. And just thinking about a person can reactivate that connection. Oh, I know. But don't worry. It's okay. We'll learn how to manage that.
Okay, sorry.
Do you see now why I feel that this should be taught in schools?
Yeah.
If we understood this as children, do you think we might be a little bit more careful about who we sleep with?
Yeah. Ursula, can I just go back to you talking about speaking to maybe a friend on the phone and they sort of hook in a bad way? I also want to do this because I don't want to be that kind of person who does that to other people as well. Does that make sense?
It does. You're an advanced student, Maria. Very good.
Yeah. And that's what I was talking about before Wendy tuned in. Yeah. I came away from a discussion with a friend and I felt that I had left her drained, even though we're talking about a similar thing. She's further down the track than me in our experiences. But I just felt really like, I felt like that I had hooked in and drained her of her energy because I was relying on her feedback and how she coped in the experience, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I don't want to be one of those people who hook in a negative way.
Yeah, and all of the tools are two-sided, just like that.
Okay.
And it's great to see your awareness already of that because, yeah, it's to protect us from the outside influences, but to also, through this process, we'll understand, hey, we're affecting other people too, and we can learn to use tools to protect other people too. Like sometimes you have a bad day and shit happens and you think, oh, and we can minimize your impact on other people and be aware of like, oh, I don't like people doing this to me, you know, how am I being, you know, and I don't want you to beat yourself up about any of it because we all do it. And, you know, but if you're aware of it and your intentions are pretty good, you don't have to worry too much about it.
Yeah.
Okay?
I even worry that I do it to Connor, that he takes on board so much of what's going on in my head. So that's really important to me that I can stop doing that.
And we can't I mean, and that's part of the journey of having a parent-child relationship, I believe, when we're here to learn stuff and they've chosen to come into us for particular reasons to learn about what we've got going on in our lives, you know, so they've taken that on at the soul level. So there's, you know, because I've done years of beating myself up and like, oh my God, how have I not got my shit together yet, and what am I doing to Lily, and I just don't want to do this to her. And in time, if you know, after a while your awareness grows and your understanding grows, it's like, well, she's chosen this family and this stuff for a reason. She obviously wants to learn more about it too. And what's the best way to learn about something? Experiencing it. Like if you wanted to learn about, so there were two souls talking about, oh, we're going to come down here and I'm going to have this life and I want to learn all about betrayal, you know. And this person got other soul who really loves you and really wants to help you grow, saying, oh, I would love to help you. I'm going to come down to, I would love to help you learn about betrayal. Awesome. You get down here, you forget everything you know as a soul. That's the point of being here. We'll go into that again another time. What would be the best way for them to teach you that? Betray you. Which on the surface, like, what a shitty thing to do to me, you awful, horrible person. Oh my God, how could you? But when you start seeing, because the higher up you go towards spirit, things are a lot less, there's less of this polarity of judgment of this is good, this is bad, and you don't take things so personally, so things are seen very, very differently. I like that Bette Midler song, From a Distance. Have you all heard that song? Yeah, From a Distance.
Who is that? A song?
It was a Bette Midler song. It was in probably the 90s. Anyway, it was this. It was like, you know, the refrain, I think, was God is watching us from a distance.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
There is harmony, and it echoes through lengths. And it's true, if you're watching something from afar, it may look, oh, yeah, like it's fine. Yet if you're in it, it could be a very different thing going on. So from a distance, things are different to how they are. So we've got to remember we're in the human experience, and we're having what we're having. But from further out, even though we are being watched over by benevolent beings, they just don't see it the same way as we do. It doesn't mean we're not cared for, but it's a learning thing too. And so from that distant soul level, yeah, it was a loving act to do, to betray you, because that's what you most wanted to learn as a soul. So is that making some sense? You don't have to get your head around it all immediately. It helps to inform, and that is what helps us stop going crazy through our lives about all these things and hanging on to them, because we're actually holding on to energy and taking it out of the space-time continuum when we hold grudges or when we worry continually about something or hold on to a hurt, you know. And it's not, you're not going to start doing this straight away, but it's a continual unfolding. And when you start to understand, oh, there is other perspectives, that will come in and inform you, and that helps you to just kind of stop taking things as personally, which means less suffering for you and easier to integrate your lessons. So to just be aware, I guess I've thrown that in, that there's more to it than what it looks like initially, the way that we learn as a soul. That's right, because it was talking about Connor. Yeah, so I've done the same and got so caught up with, oh my God, I'm screwing up my kid, I know better than this, how could I do this to her, I'm behaving just like my mother, I know what it's like to be so sensitive. But then it's like, it could be doing a bit of a disservice if I stop her from doing her learning. So there's always this duality, two ways of looking at things, and no way is going to be completely right or completely wrong. And it's good to have a balance between the two, because we're supposed to be human beings and we're supposed to go through certain stuff. So, yeah, I'll encourage you continually to not use any of what you learn to beat yourself up.
Okay.
Is he okay, sweetie? Do you need to speak with him again?
Sorry?
Maria, is Connor okay? Do you need to go?
Yeah, Connor's all right. Connor fell before off his bed. I just went to get him some ice, but Connor's all right, yeah.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I just thought I heard something.
They're probably my kids you can hear in the background, and they're fine.
Oh, and they're fine. Good. So we're almost at the 2:30 mark. How are we feeling? Do you want to reschedule and through this class better, or do you want to hang on for a bit and see how much I can get through? How much time do you both have?
I've got time.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got time. I'm just a bit tired, so if I'm not saying too much, don't be offended, okay?
No, I won't be offended. I just like to make sure I'm not losing you. That's all. So that's fine. Okay, so if that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's important to understand to me is we all come in here with exactly the same potential. All right, so we're all like 100-watt light globe. What happens is we go through life, we have these experiences which affect our beliefs, we take on things from our parents or from our major caregivers, we start to believe things about ourselves. And it's like this light globe starts to get obscured a bit with muck. You know, we take on things that obscure that potential a bit. And so even if that light globe was completely covered in like 6 inches of muck, so that you just couldn't see the light shining out of it anymore, do you get that? You plug that into a light socket and turn it on, it's still going to emit that 100 watts of light.
Mm.
Yep. You can't stop. You can't not be what you are. It's just that all the other stuff is obscuring that light from coming out and from expressing. And as humans, we're a bit like that too. We come in as pure potential. We've got a soul contract or something we've come here to do and learn and be, and we've got a purpose. And that doesn't change. What happens to us, our experiences, and we might get a few scars, we might get knocked about, we might take on beliefs about ourselves and believe, oh, we're this and we're that and the other. But none of that's true. It doesn't stop us. We're already completely worthy, and we're already loved beyond anything you could imagine. You know, we're so held in such esteem by the universe. We're all kind of just sparks of God source, whatever it is. We're just sparks of God that came out to have experiences so God could learn, or whatever the God force is, could learn more about itself. To do that, you have to learn what you're not. Does that make sense? And so a lot of the human experience is about that. We go through first discovering who we are. We do that, you know, in the personality as children. We try things on. What is this like? We'll try that behaviour on. You know, we watch our kids doing it. And as we grow, oh, I might dress up like a mod, or I might be a punk. I might be sporty. I might go and do theatre. I might try this job. I might try that job. I might wonder what it's like to be like this for a while. We're trying things on, and you understand who you really are by going through who you're not. So do you agree you go through some experiences in your life that weren't particularly great, but you come through the other end of it and you think, oh, look how much I've grown as a person. And often you think, would I go back and not have those experiences? And mostly people say, well, no, I wouldn't trade in having those experiences, because look at what I've gained, where I am now.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And it's good for us to bear that in mind with our kids too. That there's a reason they need to grow from their experiences too, and it may be really hard to see sometimes, but we have to learn to allow that to happen sometimes. And for yourself, I just want you to remember that you don't have to. You're not actually broken or have to fix yourself. You're already everything you need to be. It's just a matter of shedding some of those layers of crap that have built on the top, because they're not the parts that aren't real. And you should be able to connect into who you are. The thing to remember is too that everyone else is in the same boat. So if we think people are awful or whatever, they've been through some stuff too, and they've just got something obscuring who they really are. Doesn't mean we accept bad behaviour, but it just sometimes can be a point for compassion to develop, to understand we're all in the same boat. We've all, you know, we're all the same source, God source type of thing. We've got this amazing potential. Sometimes we need help to clear the muck away so we can actually let that light shine and see it. So our job, as I see it, is is a continual trying to, you know, the awareness goes to that service of trying to clear away the muck so we can really be who we already are. Okay? How does that sit with you? Does that feel all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And the other thing is, as I've mentioned before, we go through life, you know, we sort of come in at 0 point as a new baby, and we're not even aware yet that we're separate from our mothers, you know. We think we're part of everything, which is what we came from, you know. Unity was the original thing, and then we separated to have these experiences to learn and grow and develop. And as we grow as a child, the outside world interacts with us more and more, and we get sensory feedback that starts to tell us, oh, there's an end to me and a beginning to someone else. I'm actually separate from my mother. And then that's a lesson that, you know, never stops throughout our life. We learn stuff. And what that does is essentially give us our belief systems and our personality, which is like our personal reality of what goes on for us. And so it's like we get these filters and lenses that come in the way that we're looking through, that colour how we see the world. It's like the diagram that's here. We've all seen stage lights, haven't we? Which shows, you know, the lovely green and purple and red and blue lights that shine onto a stage when there's a rock band playing or whatever. And the light themselves are not coloured. It's a white light behind the filters there. It's the filter. There's a piece of blue or red plastic that the light shines through, which creates the illusion that the light is coloured. So it's a bit like that as a human being too. Our experiences put these filters and lenses in place, and they colour how we see the world, but they're not necessarily the truth. So does that make sense as a concept?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
It does. And again, it's just something, in your awareness, when you're going down a rabbit hole sometimes, you think, oh, hang on a minute. Oh, maybe I'm just looking at this through my own understanding to this point and my experiences, and does that serve me, and do I still want to look through that, or might I want to change it and to understand that other people too, when we just can't seem to understand someone else and think, how could they be like that when clearly to me this is this and they're seeing it as that. They're just looking through different lenses too. They have different belief systems, different understandings, and that's pretty much what gets in the way sometimes, and why we get along with other people who are looking through similar ones to us, so they see the world a similar way. Yeah, that's why I shared that with trying to explain this concept to Lily a while ago, and when she gets very angry and she sees the world as, you know, bleak and against her and everything's shit, you know, I'm like, well, it's just like you're looking through a dirty window at the moment, so all you can see is coloured by that emotion that you're feeling and that dirtiness, and it doesn't feel right. I said, if we can wait, we know once we calm down, we see things differently all of a sudden. So it's like encouraging her to clean that window before she looks out of it again. And I say, you know, just if you're angry, stop talking, stop, wait till you're calm, and we can clean the window, and then you'll see the world a little bit more realistically, and then you can operate from there instead of at that heightened emotional place where you're looking through the haze of the experiences and whatever's been triggered and brought up for you. So again, that making sense?
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Right. Because pretty much everything is just to do with our perspective. So the little picture that we've got here, see the little guy there, he's got, like, it's not a great picture, but he's got this really big long wall, and it's as far as his eye can see, and he can't see over the top of it. From where he's in, right now, he can't see past that wall, and behind him is like a big mountain. So we'll get stuck sometimes in a situation, and it feels really overwhelming, and it feels hopeless. It's like someone who's very depressed, and they get stuck in that dark place, and they really, at that moment in time, can't see any different. It's just not possible for them to see differently from where they are. They can't see anywhere else. And we're all there sometimes. But if this little guy was to climb up to the top of that mountain, he would see that on the other side there were beautiful flowers. You know, he would see something different. And, you know, we've got the little aeroplane there up above the clouds, because one thing to remember is no matter how cloudy it is and how dark the storm clouds are, once you get above them, the sky's always blue. So if you get an aeroplane and go up high enough, it's always a clear sky. And that's just trying to tell you that your perspective always colours what you'll see and what you experience. So when you're down there in the pit, of course you can't see, but you need to remember that it is just a perspective and it's just where you are and it will pass. So I don't want anyone getting stuck in those dark pits, because we get there from time to time. But if you can always remember that it's transient, it will end, and it's just your perspective right now. But if you trust that you can get out of there, you will. It will pass, and you'll be all right. Then you'll never do anything sort of dangerous or permanent, because you know that it will pass. You can always change your perspective. You may not be able to feel it then and there, but if you know it will pass and there is something else, you can wait it out and you can get there. Okay? And the higher up you can go, the more broadly you can see, and it just changes your view of everything. Is this making sense from an esoteric point of view?
Yeah.
That, you know, as it is physically, the further you can see, the more possibility opens up. Like the higher up you go, it changes your view of things. And as it is mentally, emotionally, if you get stuck in a situation, you can only see so much. You need to expand your view, and you know it will change. There will always be more to a situation. You just have to wait it out and be willing and trust that it's there, and you'll find your way there. Does that make sense as a concept?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So let's get... Sorry, I've zoomed through this so much. We're going to do a little practical exercise.
Sorry.
The first of our tools. That's okay. So, are we sitting down? Have a sip of water.
Yep.
Dogs are fine, Maria. They're not bothering us too much. They're fine.
Shut up, Tommy.
The tools are aligning and centering. A golden bubble of protection. This is probably enough for the first week to work on, and it's going to be quite helpful. So if we can sit with our feet flat on the floor, back nice and straight, just feel relaxed. Nice deep breath. Oh, out.
Close the door, keep the dogs out.
Yeah, they're getting twitchy because it's been a long time, and I'll wrap you up soon. Okay, so just sit and just close your eyes. Use your breath, just nice deep breath. Let it out. Just bring yourself into your body and into a space of calmness. So another breath. Bringing in calm. Breathing out any stress or anything else we're connected to. I'm just going to connect further within with each breath. I'm going to just bring you out of your head, down to your heart, further within yourself. I'm going to imagine an alignment column. This column is a beautiful shaft of white, pure light, and it extends down upwards right from source, from the God source, and it comes down through our soul star, in through the top of our head, through the chakra system, and extends down your body, out down your feet, and connects you down deep into the core of the earth. So this beautiful light, you can feel and imagine and see it. Feel it descending through, and you're right in the middle of this beautiful connection between heaven and earth. And you can extend that column out so it gets a bit wider and envelops your whole being in it. And just feel part of this alignment. You're aligned to the plan and purpose for this planet. You're aligned to your own higher self and to your purpose. And that helps you to feel part of what's real and what's true, and that original potential, you know, that 100-watt light globe. You're aligned to that, the pureness of you that came in here. And then I want you to bring your awareness down to your heart space, so we come completely out of the head. Let any mental chatter, anything of the day that's happened, fall away. We continue using the breath, and we just descend down until we feel settled right in the heart space. So we're aligned, we're centered, and this helps us feel a little bit more at peace. So just revel in this state for a little while, because this you can do for yourself quite easily, any time, any day that you feel rattled. You can just come back to here. You can just bring down that beautiful alignment column, feel it having its effect on you, bringing you back into center, dropping to the heart, And here's your beautiful space that you can operate out of any time, any day. Now we're going to bring in a beautiful bubble of golden protective light. So just imagine this amber golden light bubble, and it's coming in and it's surrounding all of you, and it's make it so big it extends around the whole of your being. And this beautiful bubble is protecting you. And this golden bubble will protect us from everything that's not in, of, and for love. Because love is a fairly nice vibration. It's a nice high vibration, and we use that as our yardstick. So if it's not in, of, and for love, and all about love, then it's not getting in. It's just like a cell wall, which is semi-permeable. It allows in what's good for the cell, and it doesn't allow in anything that shouldn't be in there. So this bubble can operate for us. So it lets in the love. It lets anything for our higher learning, anything that's good for us, but it keeps out anyone else's projections. It stops those cords from coming in, keeps us safe as we go through our day. So just take a moment and sit within and try and feel that. You might see it in your mind's eye. You just might have an understanding of it. You may actually feel. Just tune in this space and just imagine this beautiful aligned centered space, and then the extra element of the golden bubble that completely surrounds and protects us. It keeps us safe from anything out there in the world. So we can just be in our own stuff and process our stuff and be left alone. So if everyone's got that, feeling okay with being in that space, you can slowly come back into the room, and you can open your eyes when you're ready. And just let me know that you're back with me.
Yep, I'm back.
Okay. How was that for you guys?
Yeah, it's good to just stop and be in the moment.
Yeah. So you were able to connect with that okay? Did you see it, or did you feel it? How was that like for you? Just so I get some understanding of where you're at.
Wendy?
Yeah, I'll go first if you like. Yeah, no, it's good. That was, yeah, I have quite a strong visual and physical sense from that. Yeah, I can visualize that golden bubble, and I can feel it as well. I can feel the light in me, and yeah, it works for me, and I felt very peaceful.
Lovely, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good students.
Yeah. Yeah, I connected with that, and I really enjoyed it, and I need to call on that again instead of running away with my fears and anxiety. I need to. It's a good way to just reground, I suppose.
It is, and as I said, the more you use it, the stronger it comes, because all these tools are actual tools, like they have their own intelligence. They're actual things we can call on. Some of these are angelic tools. Various things come from different places, but they're there and they're quite happy to help us. But being on the earth plane, a lot of these beings and things can't help us until we ask. They can't just impose themselves on us. So this is a starting way of calling on the resources that we all have. So the more you work with them, and they get to understand what you want, and then they want to serve you, and so you'll get more confident in using them and understanding and trusting that they're real, and then they will work more strongly for you. So again, this is why I advocate the daily practice. So I've got some notes that will come out to you. I'll email them through to you. I'll probably send them to your Gmail address because of using the Google Hangouts. Let's keep everything in the one place so we're not looking in different places for things. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
So I'll give you, it's all written out for you, the meditation roughly, so you can read through it and get that understanding a little bit more. But then don't feel you have to follow this as a script or anything. You know, you'll find your own way to use the tool. And then there also will be a little thing for you to fill out. So it'll be, I've got to change the days. So you'll have like Monday through to, or Sunday through to Monday, and it'll just say, we'll be practicing just these tools. That's your homework for this week. Just take a time out each day and do your align and center and practice your golden bubble. And then at the end of each day, I want you to sit down and review, how was that today? What did I feel? Did I feel anything just so you're noticing, and that's going to help ground the tools in more and make the experience fuller for you. Does that feel all right to do that?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about that next week. So that will come to you on your email. I'll send that out to you this afternoon. And I will send you another couple of articles to read. So if you haven't read what I've already sent to you, again, the Journeys Back to Self is just really about me, so you can understand a bit more about who I am and what's going on for me, perhaps.
Okay.
I'll send you another one about, it's called How to Save the World from Your Armchair, which is very cool. An old mentor of mine wrote that, and I like it very much, and I've got her permission to share it. So that'll come to you as well as this worksheet. And we briefly touched on this earlier with one of you, I can't remember which one we talked about it, but the reason for doing the report is, to me, at the end of the week, is accountability, and doing the nightly review thing just helps you to ground these tools so that you will make them a habit and make them a part of your world, and then you'll get the benefit of using them, because life gets easier when you've got the tools to cope with. You know, you don't have to take on everyone else's shit as well. You can understand, all right, this is mine, that's someone else's, I don't need to take that on, it just makes life easier. And as I said, if you don't, you might feel, oh, I forgot to do my homework a couple of nights, I didn't learn anything, I wasn't a good student this week, I'm not going to write a report because I don't have anything to write. I encourage you to please write me one anyway, because I went through this with
Are we writing it and sending it to you? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Or do we just write it and give it to you at the end of the week, or do we just write it for ourselves?
Well, the nightly thing you do is just for yourself, and then you'll have something to review at the end of the week and go, oh yeah, look at that. And then when you look back over your notes for the week, then I just want a little email from you. It doesn't do anything huge, just any insights you had. You know, well, this was for me, I struggled with this, or this was really good, or I noticed this happen, and wow, I'd never noticed that before. Whatever you feel like telling me, just tell me something, because I found that the weeks I thought I did
do that before next Saturday, is that right?
Ideally, yeah, so perhaps Friday night or something you might do that.
So it's just some feedback for you.
It's feedback for me, and also it's mostly for you, because I found when I thought, oh, I didn't do very well this week, and I didn't do my homework properly, and I wasn't engaging with it properly, and oh, I'm a shit student and I didn't do very well, and I didn't learn anything. I found the process of sitting down and writing anyway, even if I just started saying, oh, Jenny, I'm so sorry I didn't do it very well this week. This happened, and then all of a sudden, as I started writing, things would come to me, and I would realise I had done more than I thought I had. And I was having experiences anyway, even though I wasn't consciously, working on applying it. I could say, oh, it was having an influence anyway, and I was using them. I just didn't realise, or I would notice things that I hadn't noticed before. And that's the process that's important. That's why it's actually more for you than me. And it's good to be accountable and just commit to doing something, because we want to establish a new habit, because I want you guys to use this stuff. And particularly for you, Wendy, I'm so keen for you to learn this, to see if I can add anything to the protective behaviour stuff that you teach kids. I just think you'll start to see it in a whole new way, and then you can give that to all the kids that you come in contact with, which I think would just be a wonderful gift. It's just going to broaden your understanding of everything. So whether or not you use them, you'll see the world in a slightly different way, and then those you interact with will as well, because we can't help but change the people who are around us. We change the vibrational imprint that we're vibrating at. Those energy fields are affecting the whole world around us, and so the world around us can't help but change in accordance to us changing on the inside. So, which is a big part of why I'm doing this. I want to be hopefully changing a few things in people's lives for the better, even if it's only in a very small way. That's enough. So we're going to do our homework, girls?
Yep. The good students that we are.
Good students, right. Get a little healing journey with me. It's something I do with my clients. So have we each got something this week that we could work on that's kind of not feeling great, or that you feel you're struggling?
Yes.
It's up to you. You can either share that, or you don't have to. You can just keep to yourself and just know that, yep, we've got this thing I'm struggling with.
Yeah, well, I think both you girls are aware, the primary thing is my relationship and the trauma that happened earlier on in the year. So that's, definitely,
And have you got something? I said you don't have to tell us what it is. It's just if you've got something, we can do a little process with it and affect it a bit and shift it on.
I'm going to think about it. You know, like so many things I need to deal with actually, so I'm going to have to think about that one.
Top of mind? What just if you close your eyes, what comes to you?
I think perhaps for me it's trust then, trust in people around me.
Yep. All right. If you've got some circumstances and you know what that's about, just keep that sort of in your awareness. And for me, I know I've been driving myself crazy with this, you know, trying to do this work and make a business and be a viable business, and I get caught up in all too many things and I drive myself crazy. And I need to remember to stop controlling everything, and it works better when I don't panic and I well. So I'm going to work in that sort of area of where I know I've been driving myself crazy this week. So again, we'll just take a moment and we'll sit with feet flat on the ground and back straight, and I'll just take you through the journey. To use your breath to come in, just breath in, breath out, closing eyes, just let the day fall away again. We're just going to be aware of that thing that's kind of bothering us at the moment. I'm just going to connect to that so we know, all right, that's the thing. We're not going to think too much about it, but we're just going to connect to it so we're aware of, oh yeah, there's that thing that's in our awareness. We're just going to bring in that alignment column again. So bring in that beautiful white column, so we're connecting up to our highest potential and everything that we truly are. I'm going to connect down deep into the earth because our physical body is provided by the earth, and so we're deeply connected to everything when we're in this alignment space. We're coming down out of our heads into our heart. Just being in this aligned centered space takes us a little bit of distance from that stuff that's going on, and we're not into it, we're not identifying with it so much. And so we're just going to allow ourselves to be here in this space, and we're going to allow that thing to be in our space as well. Okay, and that's cool. And what we're going to do is, remember I told you about the 4 parts of our energy field? We're just going to go back to that idea of like the babushka doll, and we're just going to align each one of them so they line up over the heart space. So we're just going to go click, 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 so that everything's lined up beautifully. And this means that the energy that we release can find its way out. Okay, we're just allowing whatever is happening to happen. We're saying that's okay, that this stuff's going on. And I just want you to feel the feeling that comes up for you in this situation that you're struggling with. So just take a moment and just being in the alignment with it. Feelings around that come up. And that's absolutely fine and okay, because feelings are just feelings. Doesn't see things as good or bad, and so feelings are not really good or bad. We've assigned meaning to them, and we'll be more comfortable with some emotions and feelings than others, and often the ones we struggle with, we're not comfortable. They're the ones we shove down, but we're not going to do it today. We're going to be okay because we're just feeling. Not part of it. It's like you have hair, and like you have toenails, you have feelings. So they're not who you are. They don't have to overwhelm you. You can feel them and it's okay. And I'm here with you, and those feelings can feel right. So let's put them in perspective. Okay. feel this, and if you're having trouble connecting to a feeling, going a little deeper, sometimes anger comes in. There's often something under there that's deeper, so just...
Ursula, I can't hear you, sorry.
Sorry, sweetheart. Just...
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me at all?
Now I can.
Okay, I'm sorry, I need to be closer to the microphone.
Yeah, I think so.
We're just allowing space for the feelings around what we've been going through, the stuff that's we're not too sure about, that we're not so happy with. There will be a feeling under that. There'll be a feeling that comes up when we think about that incident or those circumstances. You know, it may bring up anger, it may bring up some fear, it may make us feel unappreciated, it may make us feel like we're going to be rejected. It may bring up almost anything, but you'll know what that feeling is. And it's okay in this space to feel that. Like I said, the feelings don't define you, they're just something we have. Feelings are neither good or bad, they're just here to teach us something, and they're a way of expressing. So right in this space, it's safe, and we can feel those things. Okay? We dig down into that feeling, and we're just going to allow space for it, and we're going to feel it. And we're going to feel it quite deeply, because right now I'm here with you and we're in a nice safe space, and it's okay to feel that. We're not identifying with it, we're just feeling it and understanding it. And then we're just going to acknowledge something about that feeling. Okay, and we're just going to acknowledge that it is just a feeling, and that it's something that we have, and that it's okay to have that. And we're going to acknowledge that we're active participants in this life, in what we're going through on some level. Not to be saying it's my fault, I've brought this on myself, not in that way, but just to acknowledge that as part of that bigger picture, from that soul perspective, there must be a reason that we're going through this, and it has something to teach us. So on that level, we can acknowledge that we've bought into this, and we've allowed ourselves, and we've chosen to feel this way for a reason, for our soul learning. Okay, so if we can do that and acknowledge that on whatever level you're able to do right now is enough, and that's okay. We don't need to head trip it, we just need to understand that there's more to this, and so we can acknowledge that we're a part of it, because when we acknowledge that we've made a choice on some level, it makes us more powerful. Because when we're choosing something, it means we can choose something else instead as we grow. And so that's quite hopeful. So if we can each, at the point where you can acknowledge that to some degree, then we can move on. Because gratitude is the key to transformation and to healing this stuff. And so the next step of this is I'd like you to find something to be grateful for in this situation that you're going through. What can you find to be grateful for in feeling this way? It may only be that you're aware that at some point in time you will know what it was for. You know, just might be grateful for knowing that one day I'll know what I went through this for. But if you can find just something to connect into so that you can actually feel that gratitude, it's immensely powerful to do so. It doesn't take anything away from you. It doesn't lay any blame. It just really is a key to transforming it. You can acknowledge that you're an active participant, and if you can feel grateful for it, you'll be amazed at how your world can open up and heal. And if you're in that space where you can find something to be grateful for, then what I'd like you to do is release the judgment you currently have on this feeling and on this situation. So we're going to stop thinking that it's bad or it's good or it's awful, or whatever we believe about it. We're just going to let that fall away and understand that these situations are just our learning. And just like dropping a pencil onto the floor, you can drop that judgment. So just give that a go and see how that works for you. Just drop completely the judgment on that. And once we've done that, if you're at least willing to drop the judgment, that's enough at this point. Then we're going to re-choose. We're going to choose something else to come into that space. So we've let go of that judgment, and we're going to choose something we would prefer to be feeling. So when this feeling comes up next time, we're going to have something else that we're feeling right now that we're going to choose to replace it with. Might be some other value. We might prefer to choose to feel calm, or to feel grateful, or to feel happy. We might choose to feel anything. Just choose something. What value would you like to embody when this situation comes up? How would you like to be? How would you like to feel? It doesn't really matter what it is. Just choose something to replace it with that's going to be better than how it is right now. Okay, and once you've chosen something to replace it with, then we're going to release all that old stuff. It will go, because we've been carrying it around, it's going to go back where it belongs, and you don't have to worry about where it's going. Energy is all magnetically signatured, and it will go where it's supposed to go. It knows. All you have to do is be willing to release it. That's why we've realigned all of our energy bodies. It will just, you just have to be willing to let it go, and it will find its way where it should be. And then once that's gone, the new stuff can come in. It has a place to sit, because that space is no longer being taken up with those old feelings about this situation. Okay. Once we release this, we're just going to harmonize and just allow how that would feel, and know that we can choose this next time. We can feel this from a different place, and what action we might take to bring this into being, to make sure that in future we're feeling this new feeling, this new way of being out in the world. This is your space, this is your time, and you are creating your life, and you can create it through this process any way you want, and that's pretty exciting. So when you feel okay, we'll come back into the room again, we'll open our eyes, and we'll just be present. How was that for you guys? That did anything at all?
Yeah, I really appreciated the just bringing awareness to it. I had never looked at those sort of feelings that I harbour or we harbour in that way before. So yeah, that was a new experience for me, something very new.
Yeah, and I want to try and repeat it every week so that it will become something you can become more comfortable with, and the process. And as I said, there's a lot informing it, but it does work. And in the beginning, I know I used to head trip it all the time and think I had real trouble connecting to gratitude for certain things, and it would make me angry. I'd be like, yeah, what do you mean I chose this? And you know, it took me a while to get the, you know, we haven't gone that far in this course yet to give you a lot, and I appreciate that. So if there was any parts you had difficulty with, that's okay. You'll get, you know, it will become easier. But just to have a start, it does shift. I know when I was first going through this, showing this process with people, I was like, oh my God. Even when I wasn't connecting to it very well, I thought it was still shifting stuff for me. I'd been in therapy for 3 years, and certain things, you know, all the talking about didn't shift them at all. I was still every bit as wounded and in pain as I started out. I was just talking about it. I had some intellectual awareness around it, but it really didn't make a difference to how I was feeling. And this stuff is drawing us into the core and actually being okay with feeling stuff, because it really, as it turns out, is the key to healing it and transforming it. Is we can't go around suppressing our feelings anymore. We're going to learn how to not do that. We need to feel them very deeply when we feel them, but feel them without judgment. We will learn to drop the judgment on it, to gratitude for everything we're going through. That's kind of the aim. And as you know, you'll probably never get there on this. There's no ideal thing to achieve. This is all a journey and a process, but I'm hoping that through this, it gives you an experience that you can connect to, and then it helps to trust that the rest will unfold and we'll keep growing. Is that feeling okay for both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, great. again, I'm so sorry with all the cock-ups and that it's been a bit rushed through. But we still got.
And I apologise, Ursula, for being so late today, getting it together. I was very late.
Please, it worked out because I cocked up so badly that it didn't make a whole lot of difference, Wendy. So I'm so grateful you two are here with me and holding such lovely space, allowing me to make the mistakes.
Oh, and I had nothing on today. I got a completely, non-scheduled day at all, so it was nothing for me. So yeah, it was all good, all good.
Gratitude all around then, and I'm very thankful. So unless you have any questions, and they don't have to be right now, if you have anything that occurs to you, we're friends, so pick up the phone or send me an email or a text or whatever when it occurs to you. If it's in the middle of the night, perhaps an email or a text message might be better. But anything, because sometimes I know, you're in the middle of it all, and then later on questions will come, and I'm here to answer them, and I really want to help you get this stuff and use it so that your life's better and easier to negotiate. That's the whole point of it. So, yes. Questions you have now?
Thanks.
Okay,
that was good, Ursula. The only thing I would say is that at times you were very faint, so I don't know whether I've turned up my volume as much as possible, but sometimes I had to really strain to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the
perhaps
same.
I'm not close enough to the mic.
Yeah, I could hear Wendy fine. I don't know whether I'm the same. I'm trying to talk over my mic, but I borrowed Kai's headset, so maybe next week I'll use that. That just might make it a little bit clearer. Might be my laptop, I don't know, or my connection, but that's the only thing. But I really enjoyed this little part of the journey. Thanks.
Thank you.
And it was nice to see you, Wendy.
You too, Maria.
Don't see anyone.
Soon, hey? Thank you, Ursula. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and thanks for I don't know, just a nice safe space between us. It's nice.
Yeah,
that is nice.
It's good to have. All right, guys. Well, I'll let you go back to your lives, and thank you so much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Have a great weekend, girls.
See you soon.
You too.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.